Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Torie. Before I forget, please like and subscribe. If you do, you get a cookie, probably. So I was about to take a nap and I decided to do this video instead. I want to talk about how dumb your brain is. Like, not you specifically, or me specific, like one's brain is. There are 4 things that I think it's really important that you need to know about your brain so that you can start working with your brain to help it get in a better place. Something about your brain is that it follows your lead. You can train it to not be so wild and out there and thinking just absolutely everything that comes in. You can train it to think about certain things first instead of default negativity, which, I mean, we do have like a documented negativity bias, so it's fine. Like, everybody starts out with that as a baseline, but you can actually train it out of that. So the first thing that I think it's interesting to know is that you can do physical things to help your brain think that you're happy. Now, that sounds like super weird and crazy, but like, if you smile more, you're using all these muscles in your face to smile, and it triggers your brain to be like, oh, you must be happy. And then it starts acting happy, like your brain starts acting happy. So in high school, I was going through a bout of depression, and I would get up every single day and smile in the mirror just to practice. And I found myself becoming a more pleasant person to be around. I have always kept that habit up. So, you know, I've actually added a new one where if I start feeling like bored or angry or frustrated by anything, I'll literally just start dancing. I will start dancing to no music. It's funny because my boyfriend's just like, you know, yeah, you always dance when you're happy. And I'm like, no, I mean, I get happy because I am dancing, but it's usually when I'm like frustrated or I don't like the moment that I'm in. And so I'm just like, dancing. I'm gonna go ahead and start dancing. Another thing that's important to know is that your brain does not compute negatives. So if you're like, I'm not going to, all your brain understands is I'm going to, and then fill in the blank. So if you are trying to come up with like mantras or thoughts or stuff like that, you can say things like, I'm going to, and then think of the positive thing. So, no, I'm not going to lay in bed all day. All your brain hears is lay in bed all day. So if you're just like, I'm going to get up and move my body, I'm going to go work out today, I'm going to go shopping, just, I mean, whatever it is, that is so much better than I'm not going to do, and then the negative, because again, you're focused on something that you don't want to bring in. If you can move your focus into what you do want to bring in, then your brain is going to follow that. What's the saying there? I think it's like where your attention goes, energy flows. And so it's like, if you think about the positive thing, that is what is coming towards you. Like, that is the energy that is coming towards you, not doing something that you don't want to do. That also works for things you say. If somebody's just like, you know, how was class? And you're like, it wasn't terrible. Like, your brain is just like, terrible. You know, and it's always that like negative bias, like that negative focus. And so instead you can be like, it was great, or it was good, or something like that. And that is something that your brain actually like catches on to. It starts following that train of thought. It starts like trying to use metaphors that don't involve things like train of thought or brain or, you know, all that stuff, because I'm literally talking about the brain. It will follow that energy. If you use positive words instead of negative words, it will actually help your brain catch on to the positivity a lot more. Again, you can watch my video on toxic positivity. I'm not here to be like, oh, you should be positive no matter what. I'm just saying, like, if you feel like you're in a rut and you want tips to get out of it, here are some that you can start trying. Another thing you can start doing is imagining the good. Everybody knows in the shower, or when you're driving, or when you're, I don't know, in an elevator or something like that, like some place where you don't really have anything to do except what you're doing, and your brain is kind of able to wander. That's the part where you think about the thing that, you know, somebody said to you when you were in 7th grade and you really should have said this back, but you didn't have a chance to. Or like you just start thinking about, you know, your money and like all the different places that it's going, and like you're not sure if you're gonna have enough and like all this stuff. That's kind of what your brain does. Like it just starts, you know, it's kind of like up on this hill and then it just starts going down. And if you don't catch on to those thoughts and rein them back in, then that's your energy just like completely dissipating. Just like it's going into that and it's going into that. It's just kind of like, it drains you. It drains all of your energy. And so instead, like every time you catch yourself just with your brain wandering into like, you know, the woods, if you can bring it back and then think about the stuff you want, or think about the stuff that you're excited about. Sometimes I get into a rut where I'm not really great at manifesting, and it's like I'm kind of confused as to what I want, and I just like, it's hard for me to do that. Think about something you're looking forward to. So something that is concrete, that is coming up. Maybe you have a trip coming up, or maybe you're excited about the end of the semester or something like that. Or maybe you just have like a really busy season during, you know, of work right now, and then it'll be over soon. Instead of thinking about, oh man, I can't wait till this is over, think about the relief when it's gonna be over. Like what that is gonna feel like, and how much energy you're gonna get back, and just how nice that's gonna feel, and like all the things that you can do when you don't have this like current stressor. So instead of focusing on the negative right now, think about like the exciting thing that's going to happen later. I actually listen to this astrologer a lot. Her name is Pam Gregory, and she's absolutely amazing. One thing that she always talks about is how people doing martial arts, when they do that thing where they have to break through this cement block, you guys know what I'm talking about. What they always tell you is focus on a point past the cement block, and then your hand will just go right through it. If you focus on the cement block, then your hand is actually going to get pretty hurt because, you know, it's cement block. But if you focus on a point past the cement block, then the energy and momentum of your hand is just going to plow completely through that block into the point that you were imagining. Taking that as a metaphor into what you're thinking about, if you constantly think about the things that are going on that are not working out so great, whether it be your health or finances or relationships or just like whatever it is that is not super great right now, instead of focusing on that, think about what you want it to be, or think about how great it's going to be once you get past this hurdle or whatever it is. And then you can kind of sail through that a lot faster and a lot more smoothly, kind similar to the cement block metaphor. So that's one thing that she talks about quite a bit, and I always love hearing her talk about it. The last thing I want to talk about is talk about the good. This is another thing where I think it's healthy to be able to express your feelings and get things off your chest and stuff like that. Maybe if you have like a really good friendship or like a therapist you really trust, when you start talking about all the sad and negative and frustrating things that are going on in your life, the more you talk about it, the more they're going to build. If you can kind of consolidate that into like, now is the time that I'm going to process and I'm going to get this out and I'm going to let this person know how I am. And then the rest of the time, I'm going to talk about this other thing that actually is going really great in my life. The more you can do that, the more, again, the energy is going to focus on that. Your personal energy, you know, if you believe the energy of the universe, then that's also going to focus on it too. But like, definitely your personal energy, you're focusing on something is exciting, something that is bringing you joy, something that is going to build you up. If you keep doing that, number one, you're going to notice when those things come into play more, because you're going to be like, oh, I was just talking about how I was looking forward to this, or something like that with a friend. Number two, you're taking away the part where you notice the negative stuff, where, you know, you say out loud like that joke, you know, oh, knock on wood. That is so true. You guys don't even know. Like, it is so crazy true. Like, if you start talking about something that is negative, that may happen or you hope doesn't happen and stuff like that, even saying that out loud is making your brain able to focus on that or able to imagine it better. And you don't want your brain to imagine all the terrible things that could happen to you. That's basically what anxiety is, but you know. So think about it. Really become self-aware in the things that you're thinking about, how much you're actually smiling, how much you're saying not words and thinking that it counts as a positive thing when it really doesn't. Just kind of like take a couple days and take stock of that. Take like an inventory of all the things that you're doing that might be leading your brain to believe that you're really a lot worse off than you are. If you try to turn it around, I would love to know your results, because when I started doing these things, again, it was a really long time ago that I started doing these things, but I remember a crazy shift. Like it was almost like I was a brand new person. And so much of it is just because you don't realize like how dumb your brain is. Like you believe everything it says. You think feeding it thoughts that are like somewhat negative in nature is going to help you figure it out more, when it really won't. It's just going to stress you out and just tie your brain into more knots than it already is. So if you do try these things, or if you have your own tips on how to trick your brain into believing that you are actually doing pretty well in life, I would love to hear them, because this is one of those things that super fascinates me. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.